Hey everybody, this is John from Bash, and today I am bringing you another Entitled Parents Reddit video. If you are new to the channel, then subscribe and ring that notifications bell so you don't miss out on the fun. In our first story, when an entitled mother messes with an older lady in the checkout counter, she gets schooled. Let's jump right in. I finally had my Karen in the Wild experience yesterday morning. I live in the southeastern US and we have a popular small box retailer here with a yellow sign and black letters. They are all over the rural south and in many places act as grocery and general stores to the community. I needed to stop and get an item for my vehicle before I ran morning errands, so I dropped in at our local neighborhood store, found the item and a couple of other things I wanted and got in line. I am very conscientious about wearing a mask when I go out and steering very clear of those who don't. The line was fairly long for a Saturday morning and I was then third or fourth customer in line. This store funnels all customers into a sort of tunnel lined with impulse purchases, lighters, candy, magazines, small toys, that sort of thing, for checkout, and there are 3 cashier stations along the line. Only one was manned at that point. The customer in front of me was a late 30-ish woman with a young daughter who looked to be 10 or so. This was the entitled mother and an okay kid. The kid wasn't so bad. She had on a cute dog face mask, but the entitled mother wasn't wearing a mask at all. She was pushing a half-full cart of items. The okay kid asks for a candy bar and the entitled mother says it's okay. The okay kid reaches for a nearby bar of candy, then the entitled mother starts looking at the candy, scanning the rows, and her eyes find what she wants near where I am standing. Luckily, the person behind me was not only standing at least 6 feet back, but had a cart between us as well, so as the entitled mother came towards me, I started backing away. She kept coming closer and I kept backing up, which she noticed. When my butt hit the cart behind me, she smiled at me and said, "Looks like you're trapped," and kept coming towards me. Well, I walk with a cane. At that point, I raised the cane so that it was between us and said, "Please stop coming towards me. You aren't wearing a mask." She stopped and laughed, then said, "Are you going to hit me with your cane, old lady?" I glared at her and said, "If you come any closer, I will. I am feeling very threatened." She laughed again, then put her hand up to her ear and said, "What? Couldn't hear you. Say again. Your mask is making it hard to understand you," and laughed. Then her daughter started laughing too. About that time, another employee came over to open the second register, which I was standing directly in front of. Usually they say, "I can help the next customer here," but instead she said, "I can ring you up, ma'am," to me. I put my purchases down on the counter and she reached for the first item to scan. The entitled mother said, "Hey, wait, I was next," and started backing up towards me again with her cart in tow. The cashier said, "Ma'am, you have already passed me. The next cashier will have to take care of you." The entitled mother didn't like this, but turned back forward to see the first cashier had finished ringing up the customer in front of the entitled mother and had turned her station light off, signaling that she was closed. The entitled mother said, "Hey, where are you going? You haven't rung me up." The first cashier said, "Sorry, I am scheduled for my break now and I will get written up if I don't go on time," and walked away and out the door. The entitled mother is now fuming and turns back to the second cashier. The entitled mother waits for my cashier to be done with my purchase, then starts to back up again. This makes it impossible for me to leave as we're in that tunnel, and I said, "Ma'am, you're going to have to go forward and leave the tunnel so I can get out." She stops and says, "Oh, just squeeze by me. You act like I have the plague or something." I looked directly at her and said, "As far as I am concerned, you do." She huffed and pushed her cart forward and out of the tunnel, and I was able to squeeze by her safely. Behind me, I heard the cashier start ringing up the customer behind me who had a pretty full cart, and I turned and saw that the line behind me had 5 people in it now. The entitled mother yelled, "Hey, I was next," and as I was going out the door, she turned her buggy back into the tunnel the wrong way. Then I heard the cashier say, "Ma'am, you can't come back in here the wrong way. You have to get back in line." Unintelligible barking came from the entitled mother as I went out the door. I admit it, I was grinning behind the mask. As I was getting into my vehicle, the first cashier was around the corner of the store having a smoke break. She finished her cigarette, put it in the ash pot, and said, "I hate people like that. We love screwing with them. Sorry she bothered you." I laughed out loud at that point and said, "Hey, this will make a good story for Reddit." She laughed too and went on into the store. No idea what the entitled mother did after that, but I noticed as I passed her when I left the store that she was wearing a scrub top for a local pediatrician's office. Think I might make a phone call on Monday asking them how they feel about one of their staff terrorizing those in the community who choose to wear a mask and socially distance. P.S. Ladies, if either of you read this, thank you. I appreciate you being there for us. In story number 2, you have to have my item. It's Christmas! I had gone out to see my psychologist on Monday and had a great session. On my way back home, I decided to wander the CBD for a bit. I find it fun and we have virtually zero risks of the virus here, so I can be safe while doing it too. I was wandering through the store we will call Bullseye that employs people with red shirts and was coming up near the register when I heard the sound of a feminine voice starting to rise. Me being the noisy witch I am, I hung around to listen to the drama. The cast is Karen, a poor worker, a manager, and a security guard. "But you have to have it in stock. Your website says that you do." The website isn't always accurate. It's better to call the store. "But I need the item. Where else can I get it?" "You could probably get it at another store." "I don't want to go to another store." The manager hears this and walks over. "Hi, can I help you?" Karen turns to the manager. "I need this item, but she says you don't have it in stock." "Unfortunately, it's a very popular item and we sold out quite quickly." "Well, where else can I get one?" "You might be able to find one at another store." "I don't want to go to another store. I want it at this store." "We could order it in for you." "How long will that take?" "Right now, about 2 weeks." "That's not going to work. I need this flipping item for my kids for Christmas." "Please, keep your voice to reasonable levels." "Flip you! I'll yell if I want to. You're being stupid." The security guard was already en route, but hurried over with this. "I'm rescinding your right to shop here. Please leave the store." "No, I want my item." "Leave now." Karen goes quiet for a moment and then spins on her heels and storms away quickly. "I'm going to call corporate. I know a high-up manager there. I swear to God, I'll bang." Karen didn't see that the door was slow opening and promptly walked into it. Multiple people started to laugh at this point, including the security guard. The poor worker was hiding her face. The manager was going through a titanic struggle to keep composure. Karen made the decision then to turn around and start swearing at the people who were laughing. "Shut up! Shut up, all of you! I'm going to sue this store. You're all going to be jobless by Christmas Day." She turns to walk out the door, not realizing that by this point she was behind the sensor range and walked into the closed door. She lets out a scream of rage and starts pounding on the door. No one could hold back this time. Seeing someone storm into a closed door twice in a row was beyond hilarious. Everyone who was watching was howling with laughter. "Open! Open, you flipping blank! Open!" The security guard walks forward and waves to the sensor, making the door open. Karen lets out another scream and storms out. In story 3, entitled uncle thinks that if he's not invited to your birthday party, then he should ruin your day. The story takes place a few years ago around my brother's birthday. Growing up, birthday parties for the whole family were mandatory, but they were mostly used as an excuse for everyone to tell you that you weren't good enough in exchange for mediocre presents. As such, I stopped having birthdays the moment I moved out, but my brother dutifully kept inviting the whole family until this event. Our parents had gotten divorced the year prior, and my brother decided to have his birthday at Mom's apartment. I think he was turning 20 years old. This meant that he could use the size of the home as an excuse not to invite entitled uncle and his family, who are particularly aggravating if they are not accommodated. Since our parents are on great terms, Dad showed up too. Unfortunately, he had some bad news. Entitled uncle, a man in his late 40s, had somehow found out that he wasn't invited to my brother's birthday. He had then proceeded to call his mom, entitled Grandma, to tell on my brother. Entitled Grandma called Dad and told him that if entitled Uncle wasn't invited to the party, entitled Grandma and Grandpa wasn't coming either. My brother really loves entitled Grandma and can't bear to disappoint her, so he was very torn on what to do. The best option we could come up with was for my brother to call entitled Uncle and tell him that he'd forgotten to send the invite and hope that was good enough for entitled Grandma. So that's what he did. We only heard my brother's side of the conversation, but Mom and I were trying so hard not to laugh audibly. "Oh, entitled Uncle, hi. Yes, I'm calling because I realize I completely forgot to send you an invitation for my birthday today. Can you make it? Oh, you're busy today. Oh no, I'm so sorry. Yes, I'm obviously completely devastated. Guess we'll have to see each other another time then. Yes, bye-bye." He tried so hard to sound genuine, it was hilarious. Dad wasn't as amused since it's his family members. Entitled Grandma still didn't want to come, but she came over a few days later when it was all resolved. Since then, my brother has been allowed to have his birthday the way he wants it. We still use the phrase, "Yes, I'm obviously completely devastated," as an inside joke to this day. This is John from /bash. Please hit that like button to help with the mighty YouTube algorithm and subscribe if you're new. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.